Over the past several years, the San Francisco 49ers have followed a very predictable and somewhat problematic pattern when it comes to handling contract extensions for their key players. Under the leadership of Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, and Jed York, the organization consistently waited until the last possible moment to finalize deals. And this often meant that negotiations dragged on well into training camp, or even right before the season opener, creating a series of issues that impacted both the team's focus and its finances. For a franchise with championship aspirations, this approach to player contracts proved costly in more ways than one. Take, for instance, the case of George Kittle. When he was looking to secure his contract extension, the team waited until weeks into training camp to finalize the deal. This delay not only caused distractions, but also meant that the player wasn't fully locked in early enough to concentrate solely on football preparation. Fred Warner faced a similar timeline, with his extension only being completed late in July of 2021, right before the season began. Although there was no drama surrounding Fred's contract negotiations, the timing still reflects the franchise's habit of delaying these important deals. On the other hand, Deebo Samuel's contract saga was far messier, involving plenty of social media chatter and public back and forth that only heightened the drama. He didn't sign until the very start of training camp, which left the team and fans uneasy. Nick Bosa, despite avoiding any public controversy, also waited until just days before the season kicked off to sign his record-breaking contract extension. Even Brandon Ayuk wasn't immune to this trend. He signed his deal right before week 1 of the season, continuing the pattern of last-minute extensions that have characterized the team's operations. This procrastination on contract negotiations isn't just a matter of timing. It comes with real financial consequences. By waiting, the 49ers have consistently ended up paying far more than they would have if they had locked in deals earlier. Brandon Ayuk's contract is a prime example of this. If the team had acted swiftly, they might have secured him at around $25 million per year. However, due to the delays in the rising market for wide receivers, his price tag jumped to $30 million annually. This kind of market inflation happens because the longer you wait, the more the value of top players tends to escalate as other teams reset the market with big contracts. Teams that take the proactive route of negotiating contracts early often save a significant chunk of money, sometimes locking players in at 60 to 70% of what they would later command on the open market. The Philadelphia Eagles have mastered this approach, routinely getting deals done ahead of time and avoiding the distractions that come with last-minute negotiations. The contrast between how the Eagles operate and how the 49ers have traditionally handled contracts couldn't be more stark. Beyond the financial implications, delaying contract extensions also disrupts the team's focus during a critical part of the year. When negotiations drag into training camp or preseason, all the noise surrounding contract talks distracts players and coaches from their primary goal, preparing to win games. This distraction is especially damaging because players involved in drawn-out negotiations aren't fully engaged in practice, which hampers their conditioning and readiness. We saw this happen with several 49ers players who arrived at the start of the season out of shape or not quite in peak condition. Brandon Ayuk looked noticeably heavier than usual. Deebo Samuel appeared a bit off physically, and Nick Bosa was slightly short of his usual form, which contributed to a sack drought early in the 2023 season. The impact of these distractions extends to practice itself. Practice sessions are supposed to be about perfecting play designs, timing, precision, and feel. When players are caught up in contract drama, the quality of reps they get suffers, and the team's overall preparation takes a hit. This kind of situation is undesirable not only in sports, but in any professional environment. In business, whether it's corporate or sports related, controlling distractions and focusing on what can be managed is key to success. For the 49ers, allowing contract negotiations to interfere with training camp created unnecessary headaches, rumors, and uncertainties that kept the team from operating at full capacity. Recognizing these issues, the 49ers seem to be shifting their philosophy. After years of costly delays and distractions, the organization is finally taking steps to secure contract extensions much earlier. This change is designed to avoid the drama of the past and ensure that players are locked in and focused on football well before the season kicks off. The shift started with DeMario Lenore, whose contract was signed early in a season that was otherwise marked by turmoil and uncertainty. This move was a clear signal that the franchise intended to break from the old pattern of procrastination and instead prioritize getting deals done promptly. By locking in DeMario Lenore early, the 49ers avoided the risk of losing him to free agency or being priced out of the market once his value escalated. This proactive approach paid off handsomely because the cornerback market has seen significant increases in recent years. Top players at the position like Derek Stingley, J.C. Horn, and Jalen Ramsey have all commanded huge contracts upwards of $20 to $30 million per year. In contrast, Lenore's contract, averaging around $17 million annually, represents a bargain for a player of his caliber. This early signing protected the team from having to match soaring cornerback salaries down the line, which could have severely impacted their salary cap situation. Following the lead of the Lenore deal, the 49ers continued to move swiftly on contract extensions. George Kittle's new deal came shortly after the NFL draft, while Brock Purdy's extension was announced last Friday. Then, on May 19, 2025, Fred Warner's contract was finalized. These early signings reflect a smart, forward-thinking approach to managing the roster and salary cap. By signing these key players early, the team is able to avoid the inflated market that comes with waiting and ensure that their core remains intact and motivated. George Kittle's contract, for example, was signed at a time when comparable players like Trey McBride had recently set the market for tight ends at around $19 million annually. The 49ers slightly exceeded that figure with a deal worth $19.1 million per year, locking Kittle in before his value could spike after a monster season. Similarly, Brock Purdy's contract reflects prudent management. Had the team waited until after a strong season and double-digit wins, Purdy's annual average value could have soared to $60 million. By getting ahead of the market, San Francisco avoided that potential financial burden. Of course, some might argue that injuries or poor performance could have justified waiting, but given the team's relatively favorable schedule, the risk appears manageable. Fred Warner's new 3-year contract, which guarantees $56 million and pays him $21 million per year on average, is another example of forward-looking management. Warner still had 2 years left on his previous contract, but waiting could have resulted in linebacker salaries skyrocketing to $22 or even $25 million annually, given the ongoing increases in the NFL salary cap. By acting, now the 49ers not only secure Warner's leadership on the field, but also send a strong message about valuing and rewarding their core players. Keeping key leaders happy and focused reduces the risk of discontent that could disrupt team chemistry and performance. This change in contract strategy also serves as a message to other players around the league. When elite players see that a franchise like the 49ers is well-run, proactive, and willing to invest in their stars early, it increases the team's attractiveness in the eyes of free agents and current players alike. It signals stability and respect, two qualities that are essential for building a winning culture. This kind of environment encourages players to commit long-term and buy into their organization's vision. With these moves, the San Francisco 49ers are not just securing their present, but also setting themselves up for sustained success. Early contract extensions reduce distractions, save money, and keep the team focused on what matters most: winning games and competing for championships. The lessons from the past are clear, and the new approach shows that the franchise is serious about evolving and improving its football operations. This strategic shift could well become a blueprint for other teams aiming to avoid the pitfalls of last-minute contract drama and maximize their chances of success on the field. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a shocking development that has sent ripples through the NFL community, the San Francisco 49ers have reportedly confirmed that their star defensive end Nick Bosa has tested positive for a banned substance, resulting in a 2-year suspension from the league. This revelation comes as a major blow to both the team and fans, as Bosa has been a cornerstone of the 49ers defense since his arrival. Nick Bosa, known for his relentless pass-rushing skills and disruptive presence on the field, quickly established himself as one of the premier defensive players in the NFL. His ability to pressure quarterbacks and make game-changing plays has been crucial to the 49ers' defensive strategies. The news of his doping violation and subsequent suspension has raised many questions about the integrity of his performance and the potential impact on the team's future. The details surrounding the doping case have not been fully disclosed, but sources close to the situation indicate that the substance involved is on the NFL's list of banned performance-enhancing drugs. The league maintains strict policies to ensure fair play and athlete safety, and this suspension aligns with their commitment to enforcing those rules. Nick Bosa's absence for 2 full seasons means the 49ers will have to adjust their defensive lineup and rethink their approach to maintaining pressure on opposing offenses. For the 49ers, the timing of this news could not be worse. The team was looking to build on its recent successes and establish a dominant defense to contend for the championship. Losing a player of Bosa's caliber creates a significant void that is unlikely to be filled easily. The front office now faces the challenge of finding adequate replacements through the draft, trades, or free agency, all while managing salary cap considerations and team chemistry. Fans have expressed a mixture of disappointment and disbelief over the news. Many had come to see Nick Bosa not only as a talented athlete, but also as a leader on and off the field. His competitive spirit and work ethic made him a fan favorite, and this suspension raises concerns about his career trajectory and reputation moving forward. Analysts are already speculating about the long-term consequences of this incident. A 2-year suspension is severe and could have lasting effects on Bosa's physical conditioning and development as a player. Additionally, the stigma attached to doping violations often overshadows a player's accomplishments and can complicate future contract negotiations or endorsements. The 49ers organization has yet to release an official statement, but insiders suggest that the team is reviewing its internal policies and support systems to prevent such occurrences in the future. The incident also reignites the ongoing debate within the NFL regarding the effectiveness of drug testing and the pressures athletes face to perform at the highest level. As the league prepares for the upcoming seasons, the absence of Nick Bosa will be felt deeply by the 49ers and their opponents alike. His suspension serves as a stark reminder of the consequences athletes face when violating doping regulations, and it underscores the NFL's continued effort to maintain a level playing field for all competitors. This unfortunate episode marks a significant chapter in the NFL's ongoing battle against doping and highlights the challenges teams face in balancing competitive success with adherence to strict ethical standards. For now, the San Francisco 49ers must move forward without one of their brightest stars and hope to rebuild their defense around new talent as the league watches closely how this story unfolds. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.